Welcome or welcome back, and thanks for being here. I'm Cassie, and this is A Wicked World. The story I have for you today is about a little boy who was tortured and killed by his father. His father, whom he shouldn't have even been with in the first place. This is the story of Oakley Headland. Oakley Headland was born on January 18, 2023, at Warren General Hospital in Warren, Pennsylvania, to his mother, Tasha Headland, and his father, Tyler Prescott. Oakley was full of life and joy, and he loved watching the old Dukes of Hazzard show with his great-grandfather each morning. He spent his days riding his tricycle with his siblings, swimming with his aunts, and playing trucks with his brother. Oakley was adventurous, curious, and very outspoken for his young age. On July 17, 2025, Oakley's mother Tasha dropped him off with his father, a man whom he had never met before. Tasha said that she wanted her son to have a relationship with his dad. But Tyler had a criminal history, which included harassment, DUI and drug charges, and neglect of animals. He had also just been released from jail about a month prior. Back in March of 2021, Tyler had nearly killed an 18-month-old child, and he had prevented that child's mother from seeking immediate medical care. He had been charged with assault and was sentenced to 20 to 40 months in a state prison. He ended up serving the entire 40 months, and once he was released, he was put on probation for 2 years, but clearly not properly monitored because he was still allowed to be around children. Now, after Tyler's initial arrest in 2021, he had posted his bail, so he was out in the world, walking around free while he awaited his trial, which wouldn't happen until September of 2022, and during this time, he had gotten Tasha pregnant with Oakley. Currently, Tyler was homeless, and while Oakley was in his care, the father and son would bounce around, staying with family and friends. So Tasha had dropped her son off with a man that he didn't know and clearly should never have been around. In the early hours of August 14th, 2025, Tyler's friend, whom the father and son had been staying with, saw Tyler and Oakley in bed together. But he noticed that while Tyler was passed out sleeping, Oakley was blue, cold, and unresponsive. Almost as soon as this discovery was made, first responders were called to the home located on Sherman Street in Bradford. Tyler answered the door, and he led officers to a room where Oakley was lying flat on his back, with his arms to his sides, and he had no visible signs of life. The 2-year-old had bruising all over his body, with severe bruising under his belly button, all the way down to his groin. He also had bruises from temple to temple across his forehead. There was not a single part of his body that didn't have a bruise, cut, or discoloration to it. He had bruises inside his ear, on the roof of his mouth, his armpits, the inside of his thighs, and on his genitalia. The 2-year-old was rushed to Bradford Regional Medical Center, but by that time, it was already much too late, and he would be pronounced dead. Doctors found that the toddler had a large hematoma on his head. He also had other visible marks on his head, pooling of blood under his skin around the sides of his head, blunt force injuries to his body, and an apparent bite mark to his back. Even more horrifying was the diaper full of coagulated blood that Oakley was wearing, and the discovery that he had an open wound on his genitals and anal trauma as well. When an autopsy was later performed, it was found that Oakley had a total of 86 separate injuries. He also had oxygen deprivation damage to his heart and brain. The little boy's cause of death was determined to be from a combination of multiple blunt traumas and drug toxicity from cocaine and methamphetamine. The autopsy additionally found that his father's DNA was on his genital area. Around the same time that Oakley had been rushed to the hospital, his father, 32-year-old Tyler Lee Prescott, was placed under arrest. He was charged with multiple counts of aggravated assault and endangering the welfare of a child. Once Oakley's autopsy was completed, he was additionally charged with homicide and RAPE of a child, resulting in serious bodily injury. He was held on a $1 million bond. During Tyler's preliminary hearing, pictures of Oakley's body were shown in court, and his mother Tasha became so upset that she had to leave the room. Tyler, on the other hand, seemed to show zero emotion. The forensic pathologist who had performed Oakley's autopsy would testify, and he said that the toddler had been tortured. At one point, he had even been stabbed with something, whether it was a fingernail or a sharp object. The little boy had survived for at least 4 hours, during which time he was beaten until he finally passed away. Now, according to police at the scene, Tyler had been visibly distraught. He was rambling and pacing back and forth. He also tried to say that the large hematoma on Oakley's head was a result of the little boy falling off a chair. Tyler then blamed the other injuries on his son's body as being due to a Nerf gun and him falling off a bicycle. Officers noticed that Tyler was sweating profusely and showing other signs of someone who was using a controlled substance. While he later admitted to using methamphetamine, he insisted that it had not just been a few hours prior, but rather days prior. At the time of Oakley's death, he and his father Tyler had been staying with some friends. They were named Tyler Fenton and Kelsey Kabiska, and they would say that the father and son had just started living there on Tuesday, 2 days prior to 911 being called. The couple stated that Oakley would seem rather shy when his dad walked into the room, but then when he left, he returned to normal. Kelsey said that this gave her a rather bad feeling, but she never called to alert child services. Kelsey's boyfriend, Tyler Fenton, would say that on Wednesday around 6 a.m., he had seen Oakley up and walking around the house. Later that morning, he had heard something, and he thought it was just his kids kicking the wall. So he yelled at them, then went back to sleep. A little while later, he had been awoken to the fire alarm going off in Tyler and Oakley's room. When he opened the door, he saw Oakley lying on the floor naked, and his father quickly grabbed a blanket and covered him up. He then told Tyler Fenton that he had been chain smoking, and that's what had made the smoke alarm accidentally go off. Later that day, around 3 p.m., Kelsey would knock on Tyler Prescott's door to bum a cigarette from him. He opened the door but blocked the room with his body, gave her a cigarette, then quickly went back inside. Neither Tyler Fenton or his girlfriend Kelsey ever saw Oakley alive again after that. The next morning, Thursday, Kelsey, who was at work, called up her boyfriend and told him that she was worried about Oakley and asked that he go check on him. It's then that Tyler Fenton had found him unresponsive. Tyler Fenton said that when he opened the door to the bedroom, a faint bad smell hit him in the face, and he saw Oakley, who appeared lifeless. So he had woken up Tyler Prescott and instructed him to perform CPR on his son while he called 911. But Tyler Prescott was way too out of it, so Tyler Fenton had to do it himself. Text messages were found between Tyler Prescott and Oakley's mother, Tasha. On August 10th, Tyler texted her saying that he and Oakley were going to visit his grandmother in Harrisburg. Then on August 11th, Tasha texted Tyler telling him that she missed her son and wanted to come get him. But Tyler ignored the message. On August 13th, Tasha texted him again, asking if he was in town. And Tyler lied, telling her no. The next day, August 14th, at 5:09 in the morning, Tyler texted Tasha and said, "Tasha, I'm sorry. Tosh, Oak's gone." Now, even though Tasha insisted that she had tried to get her son back from Tyler, and she had sent him a couple of text messages, according to a few people on social media, Tasha had been contacted and told to go get her son because they feared that he was in danger. But according to them, she refused to listen. Whether or not this information is true, I'm not 100% sure, but I figured that it was worth mentioning. Now, Tasha's current boyfriend, whom she allows around her other children, Brian Scott Parks, is also a registered sex offender. So it does not seem like she has the best judgment or provides her children with the safest living environment. Due to all of this, many people online have been calling for Tasha's arrest as well, but that hasn't happened yet. Soon after Oakley's death, a photo of him began circulating on social media. It was taken by a family member at a birthday party just weeks before the little boy died. In it, Oakley looks absolutely miserable, and he has visible injuries all over his body. Yet no one seemed to think that anything was wrong with the toddler, and Child Services was never contacted. There's also this post that Oakley's cousin made after his death, which says, "Dear Oakley, I can't believe your dad would do something like that to you. I'm so sorry, buddy. I could have saved you from when we were at the spillway and he tried to drown you. I'm so sorry. We are all going to miss you, and we all love you." What exactly this post refers to, I'm not sure, but it sounds like Tyler tried to drown his son prior to his death, yet nobody had made any type of report to authorities or Child Services. Soon after Oakley's death, his family opened up a GoFundMe, seeking $10,000 for funeral expenses. However, this was later shut down after they faced much criticism because the state was going to be paying for Oakley's funeral. Prior to it being taken down, Oakley's aunt, Courtney Headland, posted on the fundraiser page, and she said, "Oakley's life was more than a tragedy. He was just a little boy with the brightest smile who laughed at everything and loved everyone." She additionally said in a Facebook post, "Oakley, I never got to finish your quilt, and your bicycle's still in my backyard where you left it. I don't know how this is real. I don't know what to do with this. I'll never forget you." Oakley's funeral was held on August 19th, 2025 at Hollenbeck Cahill Funeral Homes, and he was then buried at McKean Memorial Park in McKean County, Pennsylvania. Since the little boy's death, 2 petitions have been started online. One of these demands that authorities thoroughly investigate Oakley's death and charge all responsible parties. It also asks for increased support and resources for Child Services. The second petition asks that child protection workers be able to enter a home immediately if a situation is deemed to be high risk and they suspect an emergency. And I've included the links for both of these petitions in the description box below. Well, thank you for listening to Oakley's story today. It's unbelievable that his mother thought that it was a good decision to leave him with his father, who had just gotten out of jail for harming another child, and whom Oakley didn't know at all. It makes me wonder what she could possibly be thinking. Then there's also the fact that she has her other children around a registered sex offender. While I don't think it's likely, hopefully, she also gets punished for what happened to this precious little boy. So if you like true crime and you want to hear it from me, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. And turn on your notifications too, so you'll know when I upload a new video, which is at least 2 times every single week. Thanks for watching A Wicked World today. Until next time, take care guys. Bye. Thank you to all the patrons of A Wicked World. Now, there's even more of A Wicked World on Patreon, so check it out on patreon.com/awickedworld, or use the Patreon app. You'll have access to exclusive videos each month and more. Any support truly helps to make sure the victims are never forgotten, and to highlight the shortcomings of society associated with each case. Do you have a suggestion for a story you'd like to see me cover? If so, send me an email to awickedworldtruecrime@gmail.com.